Hello, today we are going to have a look at the BX MRO software, and MRO stands for Maintenance, Repair and Overhaul. All functionality you might need here is found under the main menu of Service, and underneath here you can see all the functionality. Let's have a look at service contracts first. Service contracts is an overview of the contracts you have, and you find a couple of things underneath there. First of all, generically, it's what kind of service type is it, response and resolution times. So you have a couple of things covered here, like service level agreements. It's the same with coverage. There you can define on what days and what time you can arrive to do your service jobs, and also if in the service contract certain elements are in or out. Now, per service contract you can add more items, and you can also add the same items and different serial numbers like here. So you can have this contract be a basis of more objects. Now you can have attachments, so you can find things back like pictures, drawings, whatever. You can have a look if there has been a service call or not. If so, you can directly go there. And in the end, which is important, is invoices. Now what you see here is the invoice interval. So every how many time you send an invoice, what's the next invoice date, what's the price, what's the GL account, and if you already made some invoices, you can always have a look at them and go directly to the invoice here with the golden arrow again. So all the information you need for your service contracts is in here. Now this also covers an important business process, which is service contract invoicing. With these settings you can define when the system should have an invoice ready, and in this case it's the 2nd of August this year. So with this you automate your process of service invoicing. Now the next item, which is very important, is this, the customer equipment card, and that's the heart of the system, as you can say. Here I made a little example for this demo where you can see the item. You also have a serial number, and the serial number is key for this item, and that's where you can always find it back for. Now you see for this equipment card information about where is it stationed, so if a service engineer has to go there, he can find it. You have an overview if there have any service calls already been, is this part of a service contract or not. So all the information is all put together in the equipment card, so you can find it back. Now in the end, what's important is maintenance itself, and this tab manages a couple of things. First of all, you see a start date and you see a maintenance frequency, and this frequency in this example is based every 5 months, so time based or counter based, and in this case, just an example, the counter is every 1000. Now what we can see here is the counter value is 3001, so this is valid already, that's 3 times 1000, but it can be both ways, so either time or counter, or the combination of those two, which comes first. So this is an important step. If you do what you can see here, your maintenance planning, then you can say this specific object, so this top belt with that serial number, should be serviced every 5 months or every 1000 miles or counter ticks or whatever. Now if you talk about an equipment card, it's the top level, and underneath an equipment card like this, and I click here on the structure, you can see what this object is. So this object can be just the equipment card itself, or in this example it's a complete bill of materials. When this equipment card was created, it can be done automatically or manually. I just said that I wanted to have a complete bill of material from this top belt was needed for my maintenance structure, and so I kind of copied it from a bill of material to here. Now, what can you do with it? First of all, everybody can have a look at what is actually there at the customer side. That's very important. So you have a structure overview, as you can mention that as maintained, so as it is now, status. What we see here is all kinds of items linked to this top belt equipment structure. You can insert new items, you can replace new items, and with this replacement you can build up your maintenance story. As you can tell, every time you change something in the structure, you replace it, and in logging you see the former item, and in this overview you always see the item which is actual, and you can add and replace that as you want. You can also add different equipment cards here. So this is just one equipment card with items underneath. You can also add manually new equipment cards, and then you have them in your overview as well. And if you look at the logging, you see exactly when equipment cards and items are inserted, what you see here. So you have a complete overview of the object you have to service, and the overview on itself is as it is at today, and with logging you see how it comes to this way. So this is a very powerful and good overview. Now, another thing you need is, if you look at this equipment card, you can see what do you need if you maintain this one. So if you have a maintenance service order, what should be in that order? Now, for that we have this little overview, the maintenance requisites. Per type of service order, you can define, either use this predefined template like this one, or you can say I add all kinds of lines which I need to have a small service job for this piece of equipment. So this is the source where the system gets its information about if from the maintenance planning you have a service order. This is what the system uses to populate this service order. So it's very straightforward and very simple to use. And this is the basis of your complete system. So service contracts, it's not a must, but it can come in very handy. And equipment cards can be linked to service contracts. So that's one of the things. Now, if you have a look at this equipment card and here here the frequency, you can say you can either make a service order based on maintenance frequency. So I go in there right away, and then we can see how that works. But this can create a service order. You can have, and that's what we go into detail later on as well, through the service call, you can create a service order. And of course, you can make manually a service order for whatever you want to. So there are 3 ways creating service orders, and the service orders themselves are just one and the same thing. Now, first of all, from maintenance. With this example in mind, with my top belt equipment card, I can go to my maintenance planning. From my maintenance planning, I just make a date range. So I just go a couple of months to the back, and I say I want to see within this date range, based on all the equipment cards I have, do I need to have maintenance service orders, yes or no? So I click on the plan, and the system says, yeah, these are the contracts you have. these are the different customers you have with the different customer cards, and here you see the 2 cards from my example, and it says, well, for these dates, so for this specific customer, I already made 2 service orders, and here I have one as well. If I want to create one, I just click on it and say create service orders, and the system creates one. So it's a very simple way of working with service orders. And again, this is one of the ways to create a service order, and the service order, in this case it's all status quotation, can be picked up here and can be processed further on. So this is one of the ways to create service orders, just based on the equipment card and what's there on the tab maintenance planning. That's a very convenient way of generating maintenance orders. So I will leave this one. I will leave this equipment card as well, and I can go to the next way how to create service orders. That's with a service call. Now, how does this work? First of all, someone calls, and if you know his name, you can add his name, and they call about some equipment they have where there's a problem. Now, if you don't know that equipment, you can't enter anything here, so it's new. Or you can say, okay, and this is the example I gave you with the equipment card, 2350. This is where I have a problem with. So I say, okay, I choose this one. Now we have from the service call, we have what's the object and for what customer is it. Now you can define a subject, what's the problem. So nothing works, so this is a real problem for the customer. Of course you can add how did it come in, by phone, by mail, what problem types, etc. You can add all kinds of remarks, and that's the good thing. It's all regarded to this specific call, so it can be very specific information of this call where your service engineer can work with. You can have overviews. You can add activities, solutions, etc. Important is the extra data. Now, what we saw at the equipment card is that we had an address for the specific object, but you can also copy that, and then the system copies it from that specific equipment card, but now you can override. This can be the case if you have rolling material or a ship. You sold the ship to a company, but the ship is sometimes in this harbor, sometimes in another one. So for this specific call, you can add the specific information. That's very, very important. Now you can have a look at history. If there is already information there about when something happened with the system, you can see whether there are already service orders. In this case, it's not. So what I can do now, based on the extra information and in the general added information, I can say create a service order. Now my system says, okay, I will open the screen. I update this first, sorry. I will open the screen of the service orders, and now the system creates it. So you have a service order, you can go there and fix it. You have the customer, and now you can go to the hours tab, because what you need is to define a couple of things, what you have to or what your service engineer has to do. In this case, this order is based on a template, and this template is a very simple one. It says, well, these are the steps I have to do. Here I already defined that I do service work here as work type, and I do 2 hours, because I have no idea what I will find there. My resource is my service department. So this means that my service engineer can go there and just sees what's happening there. Maybe it's a very simple problem and he can fix it right away, or maybe we have to do a lot of things or a complete project for that specific gear or that specific object. So we don't know yet. So this is what I do. If I know anything more, I can add materials and things like that. I can also say I want afterwards a billing scheme. I can make a quotation for this, whatever I need. But most important is that I say just add it based on my call, and this call is now done, and I can go on with my service order. So for the people in the office, they can leave this window open when someone calls again. Now we see that this go there and fix it order is linked to this one, and for work preparation I can go to my service order as well. So this is the second way of creating service orders. First we did it based on maintenance planning, now it's based on a service call. The idea is exactly the same. Now the last thing we can do is also add this manually, and then you create the order and just enter what you need. Now in this case I already have one. In this example I can, if I know anything more, or my service engineer knows anything more, we can add it here. So we can add text, we can add work descriptions, and we can copy that from other service calls or from templates. Most important here is that it's fast and easy and you don't forget anything. So we made a little checklist. What should the service engineer do normally? Check for the problems, report them back, talk about what to do, then repair it, do your administration, and then this service order is finished. So that's a very simple way. If we want to make a quotation of this order, in this case it's not necessary, because if you have a look here you can see that it comes from a service contract, but anyway you could make a quotation out of it. So if I go here, I say in this is the calculation, and in hours this is the only thing I know now, so set the price for it. If you know more, you could easily make quotations with this, because that's the status. So now my next step would be say, okay, my customer is fine with it, he says go on, and I can print my work order form and my service engineer goes. Another thing is that if there's a web client available at that customer, he can see in his web overview, okay, now I have my order and I can go on. Now, if you do that, you have to do a couple of things. And so let's say my order is order is released now. My service engineer is gone, and now he sees what's wrong. So what I can do now is say, okay, he's going to repair it, and I want to have detailed overview. So I select this one on my material tab, and I say, okay, my service engineer says he needs for this thing he needs some steel plate. I choose them. He needs whatever, 4 of them, and that's it. And so a very simple way of having an overview of the material he needs, and also specifically for this activity he does. Now, if it's not there, you can order it. So you can make a purchase order for the material you need, or what you could do here is say, okay, I will just pick this from stock, and if I have a look at this tab, I can say, well, here, get it from stock, and everything is booked and also financially, sorry, everything is okay. So if this is the case, sorry. So this is finished, and this is the way, especially if you have a lot of materials that you need. You can make a complete list. You can do that up front and put it in here, and then they are financially booked. That's an important thing. Now, another thing what you could do is say, okay. The engineer spends time on this. Now, here again, either way you can do this with this form, which is that the service engineer fills out his service order form, and someone in the company is doing all the time entries, or you can choose a specific week of this. You can choose the employee, and you can say, okay, where did he work on? So it's go there and fix it. This service order. Now, what did he do? You can choose, and that's important for the information you need in the end. You can either do it on the details, or you can do it, just book it on the order itself. Now you can define what type of work he did, so you can see what cost you have, and I can say, okay, on Monday he worked on this 5 hours. That's it. So if I've done this, I'm ready with my time bookings, and then normally you gather them for a day or a week, and in the end you have an overview of all the timesheets which are there, which can be approved upfront by project manager, or by week, or by both. But then someone can select what is there and say update it. And also, just what we did with the materials, you can make a financial booking with this as well. So it's a very simple way of using this. Now, if I go back to my service order, what did we do? If I go to my hours, I can see, well, I had an idea that it would be 2 hours of checking, and here I booked 5 hours for reparation. With material, I said that I needed a couple of steel plates. So what I can do is have a look at my budget and say, okay, I had a budget and my actual costs are higher than this budget. Where does it come from? Now you can see it here with repair, that these 250 hours are actual costs, and I never had that in my current budget, so I spent more money than I wanted to. So that's an overview of what's happening. Of course, you have all kinds of reports where you can see what did I earn on this service job, or how far am I in this service job. So you can also, if the service jobs are taking a longer time, you can have a look at the progression of it. So where are you at that stage? The idea is the same. Now, in the end, what you can do if you make an invoice, you can say, okay, I want the invoice based either as a fixed price what I did, or I can say no, I want a time and material booking, and I will do it now. So what I can do now is go to my invoicing, and with the invoicing I can select exactly what I need here. So I have two items. I have my service work and I have my steel plate. And that's a thing which is very important, I can show it here. Since we said that material or items were included in the service contract, you can see here that the price, it says here, is 0. The base price is 274, but here it's 0 because of the fact that it was in my service contract. You can change it if you want to, but this is the overview of what's happening with this price. Now, since it's in the contract, we don't have to do anything with it. So I can create the invoice. I can add any comment or whatever I need, but in the end, very straightforward. We create an invoice like here and finish. So that's how you can work with invoicing of service contracts. Now, you can always have a look back here at what happened. So if you want to have an overview of the invoices, you see exactly it's a steel plate and that. And if I make this bigger, you can see that the total or the unit price here is 0 because I didn't add anything. But this customer sees that you use these 4 plates, so he knows this is good that he has a service contract. Now this is the way you can work with it. Everything is also booked. So as soon as you use material or hours, it's booked as work in progress. As soon as you make this type of invoice, the financial bookings are there as well. So that's the way how you deal with this. And I think that's one of the most important things of the system is the planning. And that's, I think, something most companies who do service have continuously open. What you can see here up front is all, that's what these colors are. That's all of the service orders which are open, and it can be service orders with more activities or just one. And what you see here is per employee, so in this case Cengiz, this is what the system sees that he can work normally from 7 in the morning to 6 in the evening, and this is what he has to do. So if you go over there with your cursor, you see exactly, in this case he starts at 9, the job time is 2 hours, so he finishes at 11. You can see exactly what he has to do, so checking for problems. You can see customer name, where is the location, etc. Now from here, either way, you can go to a service call, which is linked to this, can be linked to this one, or you can go to the service order, which is linked to this one, and here is the order. So if you don't have a service call, you just can go to the order, but you can directly go into any detail you have. The same with here. Here you see the overview. I will just pick one up. If I look at this one, you can see exactly again the same information you need. And a very important thing is if you double click on it, you can directly go to the either service order or the service call as well. So from everything you do here, you can see the details. Now I will move this to the right because where are my? There are a couple of service orders. Now here you see what we just did. And what you can do is, if it doesn't fit there, you can put it on another day. Again, here you can put your cursor on, and it's a very easy and simple way of planning. So you just pick up the amount of hours, put it in here. In this case, I have 3 employees in my service department, so I can just put it with service engineer who is free. If this is too detailed, you can make this a little bit smaller. You can make it this small, so you can see all 3 of them, or you can make this a little bit bigger, depending on how big are the service block you use. Important is that this overview gives you a direct insight of anything you have to do in your service department. So this type of planning is really easy and really powerful, because you have a complete overview of your complete company. So what we just saw is you can work with service contracts. On the contracts you can link items with equipment cards. On the equipment cards you have all the information you need regarding to the object you have to service, with service frequency. From there you can do either maintenance planning, or you can create calls based on a service call, service orders based on a service call. The orders can be created manually, doesn't matter. In the end you have the service orders. There you can define upfront what time and material you need, or you can just say this is what I want you to do, and enter time and material afterwards. If that's done, we saw that you could do the invoicing, and invoicing is also based on the service contracts. So a very powerful and easy to use maintenance, repair and overhaul add-on for SAP Business One. This was it. Thank you very much. Speak to you next time.